Oi oi ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to JADE-PLAYS-GAMES, the new home of survival, crafting, building and simulation. I already run a pretty successful survival channel with 160,000 plus subs and 64 million views and counting. But I've decided to split my content a little bit, have a little bit of more friendlier place for some of my crafty games, farming games and just a little bit more chill. It's also going to be the home of more extended gameplay from some of the games that I cover on my survival channel too. It's not the usual channel trailer, just a heads up of what to expect in the next year or so of JADE-PLAYS-GAMES. There'll be many other games added to this list as well, but here are the 15 biggest crafting, survival or open world games I'm looking forward to that you'll be seeing on this channel. Plus of course a lot more, so make sure you're subscribed, leave a like, let's go. BREAKWATERS is a procedurally generated survival co-op action adventure game with survival, as you explore lots of islands fighting off against pirates, slimes and other creatures. You'll be taking on these giant massive golems. You're going to have to solve puzzles and using the water mechanics to set up bases, farms as well as travel the world on different boats and modes of transport. I'm doing this list in the order that I reckon they're coming out, and BREAKWATERS is releasing on 11th November on Steam. It will be hitting consoles in the future as well, as it hit a very successful Kickstarter program. So it's going to be 4-player co-op at the very beginning, and I can't wait to dive into this one very soon. LEN'S ISLAND launches on Steam Early Access on the 26th of November. It's going to be an exploration RPG survival game where you'll go and explore dungeons as well as procedurally generated islands, trading goods, buying new items and facing off against Stranger Things style enemies in horrible, horrific caves. Of course, it's got some more relaxing elements like farming and base building, and that's what I'll be focusing on when the game releases at the end of the month. Single player only at the moment, with no real plans on console just yet. Let's see how it does once it actually arrives on Steam. Little Devil Inside is scheduled to be released very soon. It looks like it's going to be hitting PlayStation exclusive for a limited while before hitting Xbox and Nintendo Switch in the far future. It's a mix between survival and RPG open world semi style where you'll go around different zones and biomes collecting resources, surviving, making sure you've got food and water and trying to take on these really weird creatures, all to research and bring back proof of them to your professor. It's got a real good Studio Ghibli vibe. It's been developed for over 7 years at this point and I'm very much looking forward to it. Supposedly it may offer some co-op opportunities, but nothing has been 100% confirmed just yet. Definitely one of the more unique survival crafty games that I've come across in recent times and I can't wait to get my hands on it eventually. I like this one because it's got the same name as me, maybe not. Planet Crafter is very similar to games like Subnautica, where you'll be exploring a unique alien landscape, gathering resources and making sure you're surviving. In this instance, it looks like you're on some sort of red Mars inspired planet, trying to find enough resources to build up various different components of your base, with the end goal being to terraform the planet from horrible red dust to something lush and green. So that's the aim of this game. It's a single player only and it's scheduled for release in Q1 2022. With plans at the moment only for Steam, I could probably see this come to console in the far future, but again it'll be in early access on Steam for quite a while, so a bit of a wait for console fans. At the moment in the demos that they've got running, it doesn't look like there's a whole host of combat options. You're not going to be fighting off against millions of creatures, so definitely something a little bit more chill. You're going to hear that word chill quite a lot in this video, FYI. OUTPOST GLACIER has been around for quite a bit in terms of being a demo available on itch.io. I'm really hoping it's going to make a move to Steam in the future with a full early access release. It's made by a small team, so expect delays, but yeah, I'm hoping 2022 is their year. A survival simulator set in obviously some cold dusty planet where you'll be hopefully getting enough electricity and power with sort of satisfactory, maybe Astroneer style gameplay fighting off against alien creatures. It's a co-op focused base building game and I really love the idea of these components, all mixing it up to make something a bit more chill. Do you get it? Cold, chill, yeah, I'll get my furry coat. Whole host of big alien Earth style like creatures, you definitely need a cuddle after playing this one. The Serpent Rogue is a single player RPG potion making game where you'll be running around gathering resources in special little biome areas and then coming back to a base town to craft and make better tools, weapons and concoctions. The game is promising different consequences in how you play and take on various different types of biomes, as well as fighting the corrupted purple splurgy bits. Published by Team 17, it's looking to be a really decent little indie game where you're going to have to think a little bit about how to get the best out of the environment while you gather resources in almost a roguelike structure alongside the survival and the crafting. You're going to be able to transform yourself into various other creatures and have some companions come and fight for you and attack some of the other monsters in the game once you learn how to tame them. Love the art style for this one and I can't wait to find out even more. Go and check out some of the gameplay that I've already got on my survival channel JadePG. Predicting some sort of release in early 2022. SMALLAND is what happens when you mix Art Survival Evolved with maybe Grounded. You're going to be exploring a huge giant countryside filled with all sorts of creatures and bugs for you to actually tame and ride. There'll be lots of story as you emerge from some deep dark underground place. You're not quite an elf, you're not quite a fairy, but you are something in between as you try and discover what has happened to the rest of the humans since they seem to have disappeared above ground. But more important than that, you'll be forging and finding a place for you and your people to call home. You'll be using the creatures to get around, face off against even deadlier bugs and creatures, and hopefully combine a lot of base building, crafting new armors, and talking to various different NPCs to get new recipes. With a focus on exploration, missions, and that base building, SMALLAND looks to be one of the biggest survival games going in 2022. I can't wait to show it off even more on this channel. Again, there's a whole bunch of content I've done already on this with previews and even an interview with the lead developer of the game, so go and check them out on the JPG main channel. But I expect to see even more guides and tutorials of SMALLAND eventually when it arrives in early access in 2022. Hitting PC first, but I do have plans to bring to Xbox and PlayStation in the far future, so yeah, excited for this tiny survival. Okay, I've showcased a bunch of survival games so far, so what about some farming and crafting? We'll take a look at LIGHTYEAR FRONTIER. This got announced earlier on in the year. It's going to be an Xbox exclusive made by Amplifier, as the title says on the screen, and I'm looking forward to this one. What's the difference with this? You're going to be farming and utilising a mech suit. Up to 4 players will be running around a huge open world map, gathering resources, farming, and possibly solving some sort of mysteries as you explore and get your resources built up. Silos, ways to collect your materials, generating electricity and power, and a little bit of mild base defense too, and it's looking really good for this one. Can't wait to try it out eventually when it arrives next year. Retreat to an End is got to be the most chilled experience you'll play in 2022 as you explore all too familiar surroundings but in a much more technological age. You'll be using your crazy gadget watch to give yourself blueprints, craft, and build yourself portals to explore different biomes. Very early days for this one. We probably won't see an actual release for it until maybe the end of 2022, but I'm hopeful that we could potentially see at least a demo arrive very soon. I like the idea of this one, a bit meditative, a bit contemplative, and I really like the design of the crafting and the UI. Add to that some creatures that you come to maybe expect while exploring a future Earth, like deers and of course turtles. You'll be able to swim, explore jungles, forests and undergrowth, and it's looking pretty cool. I'm so early for this one, there's not actually a proper trailer out for it yet. PALEO Pine's got a big amount of Kickstarter money, I do believe, and since then they'll be doing lots of devlogs showcasing what is a cute Dinocraft sort of Pokemon game as you go and explore the huge open world, gathering dinosaurs to tame and use them to farm, gather resources and help you build settlements. It's still really early days for this one, so there's a chance it might not actually appear to 2023, but I'm kind of hoping we'll hear big news about it next year. Salt 1 was a bit of a cult hit and Salt 2 promises to build upon that. They just had a successful Kickstarter program happen earlier on this year and looks like full release in early access will be in 2022. It's going to be single player to start with, but I do hope to add multiplayer in the future as you explore procedure generated islands and seas, upgrading and customizing your ship as you go, with various different mission mechanics added to the game and a real decent loot system where you'll be hoping to get the best weapons you can get. The last plug, I promise, I did sit down and had an interview with these guys on my main channel, so go and check that out too if you want to hear more information about Salt 2. BITCRAFT is promising to be a new type of MMO, cooperative MMO. You won't be fighting against other players in this new experience, which has got very Studio Ghibli vibes. As of recording this, they just released a bunch of info talking about their alpha that you'll be able to sign up and future betas, and a bit more details about what to expect in this idea of exploring, setting up your own settlements, becoming a very important trader or specific role in a civilization. That civilization will be made up of other players, so it's very MMO-esque, and it probably will be a bit of an undertaking and a bit of a grind, but I'm looking forward to trying this out. Hopefully we'll get news about an early access release at some point before the end of the year. Why have one MMO when you can have two? PALIA is jumping into the fray in 2022 as well, looking a bit of a mix between Fortnite and Animal Crossing, as you again explore some sort of alien planet, going about gathering resources, building up settlements and interacting with other players. It's promising not to be PvP led, you'll not be facing off against each other, but you will maybe taking on other enemies and creatures in the game. At the moment, not much is known about the makers of the game and whether or not it truly will be an experience worthy of your attention, but it's definitely got a lot of customization options planned. It looks like you'll be able to upgrade your settlements, your own special dwelling, with a whole host of decorations and items. Especially with the last couple on this list, expect lots of regular updates talking about what potentially is coming and how progress is being made. The trailers certainly look nice and inviting, but whether or not the gameplay will actually match up to that and have some more exciting stuff, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely enticed by the world, and that's why I've included it in this list. I've been following Wild Planet for a good while now, ever since the game developers showed it off at a bunch of game jams, and I'm liking the look of it. Imagine Don't Starve but on an alien planet where you go and gather resources in a multiplayer setting, trying to fight off against aliens and build bases. The big mix here is that it's an ongoing game. Every 90 days the world will wipe, but you'll come across remnants of previous players left on the world. And while it's not really PvP, it's all about co-op, it does entice me, the idea that you could build something and in 90 days a brand new fresh player may come across what you built and maybe be able to loot and get some extra resources from it, or just find the dusky shell of your fallen body. This does come out expected very late in 2022. And finishing off with, again, another inspiration I'm sure from Don't Starve, a 2D survival crafting game where you'll be going and setting up your own base, setting up traps to capture wildlife and fight off against, yes, you've guessed it, zombies. WONDERLOST again is a successful Kickstarter campaign game that will be making its way to early access in 2022 by the looks of things. It's got an alpha that's running at the moment and the game devs have been showing off a bunch of stuff in recent months and it's looking pretty decent and pretty good. Colourful, bright yet challenging and maybe a little bit difficult fighting off hordes of zombies while you obviously grow your crops and try and keep them at bay. I really like the art style of this one, and I guess that promises to be what this channel's all about. By no means is this the only games you'll see on the channel in the next year. Games like Grounded, Scrap Mechanic, maybe a bit of Valheim and much more, they'll all be appearing when they've got big updates incoming, as well as future news about games not scheduled for release in 2022, but definitely going to be keeping you up to date about any potential news and what's going on. Like the most recently announced Haunted Chocolatier, the semi-sequel to Stardew Valley by Concerned Ape. This one's looking fantastic and I can't wait to get a chance to play it, and I'm hoping it could be 2022, but looking more likely to be 2023. And then of course the big ones like Hytale, again not releasing until 2023 but filled with news hopefully next year. So if you find any of these games interesting, do let me know. If there's any games I should be checking out, also let me know, and go and make sure you subscribe to JADE-PLAYS-GAMES and my main channel if you want more survival news. Until next time, I'll see you later.